You are live, and that's what you see right there. Okay. One, two, three, four, five. Hello, hello, hello. Got my Superman shirt on today. We're live. Wacky Wednesday. The first Wacky Wednesday, and I'm going to go pretty freaking deep on what we're going to talk about today. You know, I've tagged this pretty hard, and I'm on day. What is this? For the past 25 days, I have done this and I got 3 more days to go, 26, 27, and 28. And I think that this is going to be a part of my life for the years to come, because this has been one of the absolute amazing things, biohacks that I've done. You know, and when I think about biohacks or things that I've done that really have moved my health in a direction that move the needle like dramatically. There are things that, besides sleep is the most important. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote a book about how to get the sleep of your dreams, and how evening routines are the biggest part of that. And, knowing your sleep type. But let me get to the point here. The point is lowering inflammation. And when you can lower inflammation, which could be the root cause of almost every chronic disease we even know about, it can truly impact your health span, which is health span is how long you stay healthy, and how long you stay healthy, right? And then lifespan, which is how long you stay alive, right? Because if you increase your lifespan without increasing your health span, then why, right? We just much rather not lay in a rest home bed for years and not being able to function. So this is it. I've been doing coffee enemas for the past 25 days. And what led to that was something that had never happened to me in my adult life. And I had my life coach, really dear friend of mine. She said to me, stop asking why this is happening to you, because that's what I was doing. And I kept shoving different supplements down my throat, kept doing all these things, changing my diet, going more plant-based, eating less inflammatory foods, not eating cheese and dairy and meats and things like that, which is all amazing things, because that's, what a longevity diet is. And I've maintained that. But my point being is, that I started asking what I can do about this. And the next day, within 24 hours, I said, okay, this is what I can do. And I'm going to start doing coffee enemas and do that. So this is kind of wacky. This is what Wacky Wednesday is going to be. It's going to be me explaining these crazy things that I've done to myself over the years. And this is one that I'm currently in. And I look forward to sharing these things with you. Really a friend of mine that we worked together at a restaurant here in Park City, Utah. And, I've been called weird over the years. And Jason said, Scott's weird, and this is only things that he tells us about. So I guess this is a forum for me to tell you about more and more things. So, gosh, what led to this? I had this huge outbreak on my face, eczema on the left side of my face, all the way down here. And it was even going down into my neck and under my beard here, what what little bit of beard I have. And then I ended up getting over both eyes, so red. And then on top of that, right in the middle, like where my third eye is, and you can kind of still see it. I've got a little red spot right there. I had what I think was a shingles outbreak. And if you had chickenpox, that virus lays dormant in your spinal cord, in the nerves. I've done a lot of research on this, and it was similar to having a cold sore, but 20 times more oozy and nasty and all that stuff. I got pictures of, this stuff, and I didn't want to put them up here right now, and I was running short on time because this goes live and you have to stay live, right? And go live. And so when I started asking what I could do to fix my skin and all these different things, I found coffee enemas. The other things that I found, and I got notes and notes and notes of this, that I'm so happy that I found during this process, is colloidal oatmeal. And also another one is coffee facial scrubs. And because they're all natural, you can put a little alloy in there, a little colloidal oatmeal, which colloidal oatmeal is where you take, you can buy it, but you also can take and put oatmeal in your coffee grinder, your blender, food processor, and just make a flour out of it, and then mix it with water or things like yogurt, or which burnt my eczema, or that I had. So I don't recommend that if you got that, but water, like equal parts water, a little bit of honey if you want to. And then I was even putting some colloidal oatmeal in the coffee scrub with some alloy to really, really do that. And another thing that I found was DMSO. And again, if you read this disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. None of this is a substitute for going to see a doctor. This is all for informational purposes, and this is what I did an experiment on myself. And DMSO is something that's controversial. It's sold as a solvent. It actually, anything that it touches will take it straight into your skin really deeply. And I've had some. I've actually drank some of it. Now it says that you'll get a garlic taste in your mouth, but I actually end up smelling like sour milk, and my family is a repellent for my family. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what dose I need and all those different things, and where I can use it for those type of things. But let's get back into this coffee. And I wasn't feeling great for about 6 weeks. The left side of my head was hurting. I had an ear infection. I started getting pain in my eye. And then I had this outbreak on 2 different things happening. And so then, thanks to my life coach, Malia, I started asking what I can do. And I found all these things. And the one that's made the hugest difference has been this coffee enema. Now let's look at what the Gerson Institute, which is really the big proponent of coffee enemas, and they've been around for over 100 years, and date back to World War I. And this is from the Gerson Institute, which Dr. Max Gerson is. He's passed away now. I think his daughter Charlotte is still alive, but they actually use a combination of juicing every hour on the hour, certain juices, and then they're going to do coffee enemas. And if you have cancer or any type of chronic disease, they're going to do those 4 or 5 times a day. Day 1, I did 2. And then I've done 1 a day, except 1 day. So I've averaged 1 a day for the last 25 days. And I got to thank my son, because you have to use distilled water for this. And we were out of distilled water one night, or I was, and he went to the store and got some because I was pretty tired and didn't want to do it, and ended up doing it. But anyway, number 1, increase cell energy production. Number 2, enhance tissue health. Number 3, improved blood circulation, better immunity and tissue repair, and cellular regeneration. Additionally, coffee enemas help to relieve pain, and which is what they were initially used for back in World War I. Doctors would prescribe enemas, not coffee enemas, but enemas, to reduce pain on soldiers that were injured, and because they were low on morphine. They had enough morphine to get them through surgery, but not enough for post. And so this is what they were doing. And then a nurse just said, well, I had this coffee made, and started doing coffee enemas, and they saw the benefits of it. And also lowers nausea and general nervous tension and depression. And this source is actually directly from the Gerson Institute, and they've done studies on it. Dr. Max Gerson has written books on it as well. So it's an interesting thing, because what I was doing was to try to solve all those problems, was trying to figure out why it was happening, and then shoving different supplements down my throat. And actually what cured it was actually helping stimulate the detoxification process of the liver. So what happens is when you have a coffee enema, or if you do one to yourself or somebody does one, it actually increases glutathione by up to 600%. And that's the number one antioxidant that the body produces. And because the liver cleanses every drop of your blood every 3 minutes, if you do this for 12 minutes, you get 4 times your body's cleansed with all of this antioxidant. And then what happens is all these great things start happening from that. And this is what I've been doing. And there's been a couple days that 3 minutes was as long as I can go. And there's been a couple times I've gone 15 minutes. So normally it's between 9 and 12 minutes. It depends on different things, the volume of fluid. It depends on the strength of the coffee, those type of things. And there's a lot of things you really have to take in consideration with this, like distilled water, because you don't want any toxins going into your body that way. The type of coffee, organic. There's even like specific coffees that are made for this that are a little bit lighter roast, have more antioxidants in it, and more different type of salts that are found in the coffee as well that help with that. And now this is not the first time I've heard of them. If you follow me, you've heard me tell or listen to my podcast or read my about page that both of my parents had cancer in their mid-50s and are cancer survivors. And my wife is an amazing researcher. And even, 17 years ago, she was recommending my dad go see this doctor in New York that was healing people with cancer with coffee enemas. And so this is the first time it came up in my life. And, just a couple of days after I started doing this in week 1, my kids were watching MASH, and it was mentioned in MASH that one of the generals had prescribed a coffee enema, and the colonel had said with cream and sugar. And he said, next thing I know, I'm on a plane to Korea. So I guess that'll teach you to be a little smart to the general, right? But this has been around for a long time. This is something that I think detoxing in general is needed in our very modern toxic world that we live in. I saw just the other day, I was watching a YouTube video of Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory, and the commercial popped up on YouTube, and it was of Roundup. And Roundup is glyphosate, and that is owned by Bayer Aspirin in Germany now, and that's a lot of GMO stuff. And glyphosate kills everything. It's toxic. It's in our foods, and so you eat organically, choose wisely, and eat clean foods. That's the first thing that happens when it comes to food. And my point being with this is that our world is toxic. More glyphosate is sprayed on the driveways in America than it is on the farmland, and so it's getting to the water supply. And China produces, according to Zach Bush, MD, who created Farmer's Footprint in regenerative agriculture, says that more glyphosate is produced in China than it is in America now because the patent is expired and they're able to do that. And so we live in a toxic world. We know that. We know that about plastics. We know that about all these different things. And so sometimes it's important to detoxify the body than it is to actually put something else in the body. And that's what I've discovered here. So yes, my skin's cleared up, and I think in a lot of ways is better than what it was. Now I've done some other things, like I've done some research also on Korean facial, and I'm not doing a 10-step. I do a 5 or 6-step process, and I don't do it every day. I do it at night generally. And so that's some of the things that happen. And I've been keto for a long time, 4.5 years. And keto, because extra fats you're eating, things like that, helps the skin. So it's saying a lot that my skin is better now than when I started, except for that one spot that I'm still healing right there. And if that was shingles, that sometimes it takes 6 to 8 weeks for that to go away. And I think that's I'm on the last little piece of that, and I'm excited. Gosh, let's see here. What else? Now, it's been an amazing experience, right? Because I've had chronic sinus infections my entire life. My mom tells me a story about when I was 2 or 3 years old that I was complaining about a headache, and you're too young to have a headache. Takes me to the doctor, and I have sinus infection. And one of the only things that's really helped clear my sinuses has been taping my mouth shut at night, which is something I can go over on another Wacky Wednesday. and which I've got from Patrick McKeon, and that's helped. But what happens is that when literally within the first minute or two that I do a coffee enema, while I'm still in the process, I can breathe better, and I can feel the inflammation going down in my sinuses. And that's saying a lot, considering that all the work that I've done over the years, and I've been able to exercise better during this process. I've been able, have more stamina, and I've been able to do things that I haven't done in a long time. My breathing exercises that I do every morning, pretty much every morning, have gotten better, and I've even found new things with that. So the benefits of this have been amazing, and because there's a lot of things, like you read about coconut oil and it has all these amazing benefits, and I haven't seen all of those things. But this coffee enemas have actually lived up to the billing. And I just wanted to share this with everybody on this very first one. And I'm thinking that what I'm going to do, and after I get through 28 days, I'm going to probably do it at least once a week and see and really pay attention to how my inflammation's going through the process. And if I need to do it more than that, I will, and go from there. Let's see here. Now, I lived in Los Angeles, or Santa Monica, Long Beach area, different places for about 9 months. And you hear about the traffic on the 405. You hear about all these different, commuting. And I lived in New York too. And so there's, and so commuting is really tough. And so that's where this came from. Sometimes you have to go in the opposite direction to get where you want to go. And as a longevitarian, I want to go to 110. And I want to be at 100%. It'll be the same that I am right now, do the same amount of push-ups, same amount of squats, same amount of movement, same amount of energy, late into my life. And I'm saying 100% at 100 is what my focus is. And so to get where I want to go, what do I have to do? Sometimes I have to go in the opposite direction. And we think so much about food, but I've been fasting for 8.5 years as well. And so food's not as important as we think it is. Right? It's not. Eating clean food is important, and breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But for me, my breakfast is 2, 3, 4. Yesterday, I ate at 5:30. Was the first time I had anything to eat. I had a couple cups of coffee, right? And my son and I worked out together prior to eating. I ate a little bit at 5:30. Went and bought some more supplies. Came back. I had a protein bar, a couple handfuls of nuts. Maybe more than a couple handfuls of nuts, but the cashews and pistachios. If you worked with me, you know how much I love those over the years. And then that's about it. It wasn't much after that. And my whole eating window yesterday was just over 2 hours, 2 hours and 7 minutes. So food's not as important as we think it is. So we're not going to eat our way out of this, right? We can fast our way out of it, and we can detox our way out of these things. And as we get age on us, like I'm 48, and my parents got cancer around 55. My dad was 55. My mom was around the same age. I'm getting to that point to where maybe detoxing is more important than actually toxifying myself and trying to eat my way out of it. So that's it. Coffee enemas, they are absolutely something that's been a game changer for me. Absolutely. I can't speak highly enough of them. I can't recommend them for you or anybody. This is what I do. And you've got to find your own way. That's my whole message. I want to give people permission to find their way. And I do that with these 8 pillars of being a modern longevitarian. And, there's probably going to be 9 pillars at some point, because I have to talk about detoxification. And the first one is mindset. And that's really the most important one. And because the mind, the mindset is everything. And the body will follow the mind. And if you believe that you can, what Henry Ford said, if you believe that you can, you will. But if you can't believe it, then you won't. And so I believe that I can be 100% at age 100. And barring any accidents, that's the plan. That's where we're going. And the second one is breath. And I've learned so much about breathing, and a lot of that started from and was spurred from me having adult onset asthma, exercise-induced asthma. And so the breath is super important. And there's 3 categories to breathing. And it's not just this automatic breathing thing that we do, because it's a part of the autonomic nervous system, the breathing and heartbeats and things like that, and blood pressure, and is controlled by that. and also as our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So, and you can influence your whole body and your whole genetic expression through these 8 pillars, but especially through the breath. The breath is emerging as something that is huge for us as a species, and especially if you're breathing through your nose. Your nose has over 30 functions, and it's super important to stop being a mouth breather and being a nasal breather, and breathing into the lower part of your lungs. And I've got my hand down here somewhere. Your lower part of your lungs, using your diaphragm, than it is to breathing in an upper chest way, because blood pulls around your lungs, the lower part of your lungs, because we stand on 2 feet. So the blood pulls down here. So getting down deeper. And I can do an episode on breathing exercises later. Number 3 is hydration. Super important, right? And it's about net hydration, not gross hydration, because coffee, this is over here, coffee's over here, 80% of what we consume is absorbed with that. But if you drink a glass of wine that has 5 ounces in it, you're going to have to drink 7.5 ounces of water to get back to your net you had before you had the glass of wine. And drinking alcohol increases urine production by 10 times. Same thing with eating sugar. It increases because it's trying to get the toxin out. So there's all these different things that happen. If you don't get enough sleep, it dehydrates you. And so hydration is something that's super, super freaking important. And go from there. Sleep is the most important by far. All right. Not eat for a day. I ate for 2 hours yesterday is all I ate. I probably took in less than 1,500 calories. Look at me today. Nothing to eat. I'm fine. Right. Worked out yesterday. Sometimes you even feel better when you skip a workout. Right. That's fine. Skip a night's sleep. See how you feel in the morning. Right. Stay up 36 hours. Stay up 48 hours. What's going to happen? It ain't going to be fun. It ain't going to be pretty. Right. Sleep's most important. It's more important, as Sean Stevenson says, more important than diet and exercise combined. And that's true. That's 100% true. Right. The next one is actually food. I call it F3. So it's food, fasting, and feasting. Our Dr. Jason Fung says our bodies are designed for feast and famine. We're not designed for feast, feast, feast. Right. So your body needs times, and intermittent fasting or fasting, long-term fasting is a great way to detox your body. It's absolutely amazing process once you get used to it. And you retrain the ghrelin hormone, just a hunger hormone that's released. You can retrain that. And you also can tap into the natural, rhythms of your body. On my last podcast that I posted, I did a Longevitarian spotlight with Bob Wholesale. He's 78 years old. He fasts sometimes at least once a week, 36 hours. He fasts every day. He's also keto. He also goes on zip lines. He hikes. He still skis. I mean, he's just his whole mindset around. He was laughing the other day when he's like, "Yeah, I'm 45. I'm too old to ski. I'm gonna stop skiing." He's 78. Still hits the slopes here in Park City. Absolutely amazing mindset and example for how to live well into older age as we in this modern world. But Bob's eating schedule is opposite of mine. He gets up, has breakfast, and he eats again at around 2:00. And then most nights, unless he goes out to dinner with families, doesn't eat again until morning the next day. So he fasts just as long as I do. But because he's an early bird, or as Dr. Michael Bruce would put it, a lion, and he eats breakfast. That's when he's hungry. But I'm not hungry for breakfast. So I skip breakfast, skip lunch, have a late lunch. These days I'm having a green smoothie, keto style green smoothie. And then I have dinner and have maybe a little bit of keto dessert afterwards, or maybe something with a little bit of honey on it, because I'm plant-based now, a little bit different. And then go to bed and get up and do it all over again. And I fast longer if I want to. But also, I want to say this, Sunday's my feast day. I feast on Sundays. I will, and then I fast on Mondays. Typically, if I want to trim down a little, I won't eat again until Tuesday. So again, that's how I can get a 32, 36, 40-hour fast in as well. But Monday, I'll eat earlier. If I get hungry around 11 o'clock or after church with the family, or if it's Father's Day, my wife and daughter will make breakfast for me. I'll eat that. But I'll eat sometimes 3,000 calories on a Sunday. But then I won't eat any on a Monday, You average that out, like about 1,800 calories in 2 days. And I've got a long fast in, and fasting heals and, releases all these different things, and autophagy sets in. And it's a pretty amazing process to do that. And so I do what I call a 4-2-1, where I have 4 days. I do kind of the same intermittent fasting, around 18 hours. 2 days I do a deeper fast, and then 1 day I feast. All right. And that sends signals to the body that it's okay to burn fat on the other days. So it's a pretty cool thing. Movement and exercise are super important. And there's kind of two different things, right? And this is an amazing pillar, because the blue zones, the areas of the world that have the highest concentration of people over 100 years old, they don't have any practice exercise. They don't go to the gyms. They don't run marathons. They don't lift weights. They don't do those things. And so it's the classic tortoise and the hare, right? The tortoise wins the race. And let me have a sip of coffee here. The tortoise wins the race. Movement wins out over exercise. And exercise, I see it as a supplement. And I'm okay with supplements. I take vitamin C, take vitamin D3, take a B complex, take other supplements when I need them. So I'm okay with exercise for a lack of movement. I'm sitting down right now. I haven't converted to a stand-up desk. I love stand-up desks. But movement throughout the day will burn more calories than if you just go do it in an exercise, take the supplement, take the pill, and do it in an intense form of it in a short period of time. The thing is that, you can use exercise to connect with your community or connect with nature, or it could be a solitude, meditative process, like I do a lot of times over the years, because I'm working out at different times than the rest of my family or any of those things. But I've really enjoyed working out with my son, since all this process has started back in March. And so it's been really cool. So just understand movement's important. Walking's important. You can burn more fat by walking than you can running. And then the next one is getting uncomfortable, cold exposure, hot exposure. And so I'm a practitioner of the Wim Hof method. That's one of the breathing exercises I do. And so getting cold exposure, the benefits of cold exposure have been amazing. We've been, conversion of white fat into brown fat. And if you don't know what brown fat is basically is fat that has mitochondria in it that helps heat your body up. And also it burns more calories. So having more brown fat on your body is better than having white fat. And then hot exposure, like in saunas, Finnish style saunas. Rhonda Patrick, she's a PhD and she's done a lot of studies on that. And it actually helps boost endurance athletes' performance by 32%. It can increase cardio because it elevates the blood or your heart rate to about 150 when you're in these high temperatures. And again, this is just informational purposes only. I'm not recommending you go do these or do these back to back. But if you watch documentaries about Wim Hof, in the evening, he grabs a beer and goes into the sauna. So he's getting this contrast therapy going on. And then the next one is about getting connected. Now, you're getting connected with the earth and earthing. So there's three things about connection here. So, two really. Connecting with the earth and with nature. And because there's negative ions that pass through the skin into your body that lower inflammation and do those things. And I also have another Wacky Wednesday I'm pointing over here. But I'm pointing to the wall socket on the wall, because you can buy things like pillowcases and sheets and things that go under the computers and mats for your feet that you actually can plug into your wall, into the grounding receptacle, part of the receptacle that runs through your house or building or wherever you are. And there's actually, every building is grounded. So if lightning strikes it, it goes straight to the ground. And so you're grounded while you sleep, or grounded while you work, or any of those things. So it'd be really cool if you had a stand-up desk, you're standing on a mat that grounds you all at the same time, right? You're getting all these benefits. And then getting connected with the community. This is another big part from the blue zones. And when I interviewed Lucas Rockwood, excuse me. I'm sure I'm not the first person to ever sneeze on a live broadcast, but anyway, Lucas Rockwood, founder of Yoga Body, he lives in Spain, and he, which has an average age of 83 years old. And he said, if you lower stress and connect with community, you can get away with a lot of other stuff because they smoke a lot, maybe not eat the best diet, and do those type of things. And us in America, we have something to really learn here when it comes to, we're thinking that we can just, eat our way out of it, shove more supplements, or go see the doctor and take a pill, and we can get better and better and better, right? And that's not really it. It's more about connection, and it's really cool. And so I didn't plan to do a little recap on the 8 pillars here, but I felt it was important, and I felt inspired to do it. So again, let's put this up one more time. The benefits of coffee enemas from the Gerson Institute. Increased cell energy production. Number 2, enhanced tissue health. Number 3, improved blood circulation. Number 4, better immunity, which we all need, right? Even our president, Donald J. Trump, had the coronavirus. And how important is it for us to realize during this time and during this process that we are all one, and we're connected. We really are. So we need strong immunity in this time, in this day and age. And also continue with number 4, tissue repair and cellular regeneration. Additionally, coffee enemas help to relieve pain, nausea, general nervous tension, and depression. So I've felt amazing during this process. I have truly enjoy how I felt and how I feel each and every day. I've woke with more energy. I think more clearly. I feel better, right? And that's the whole point of it, right? And I know it's kind of a touchy situation. I know people want to talk about it, poke fun, that you're putting coffee up your butt and all these other things, right? But this is a practice that has been around for a long, long time. And even in the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's actually a Jesus talking about enemas. And so you can search that, Jesus Enemas Dead Sea Scrolls, and you'll find more information there than you ever would have imagined. And so I'm going to sign off for today. I'm going to call this good. I'm going to put this disclaimer back up here. So the modern longevitarian content is provided for informational purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice or a substitute for the medical advice of a physician. I need to read better, right? Anyway, here we go. And it's Wacky Wednesday. If it's your Friday, the name of this show is My Friday. And if today is your Friday, have a great weekend.